right, Baroque instrumental music. We had been already listened to the Bach Brandenburg Concerto, if you remember, of the lady playing the harpsichord, taking the improvised solo and so forth. So we'll cover that a little bit. But there are a couple of things. When we think of instrumental music in the Baroque, we're going to mainly think of Johann Sebastian Bach. He's the Mac Daddy, the real Slim Shady of the time period. Now in the listening test, we'll have Vivaldi's Spring, which we already listened to. Vivaldi being the red-haired priest who's known for writing like 500 concertos. But Bach is our main figure that we really want to focus in on. A couple things that happen in Baroque instrumental music. We have a new genre called the fugue. There's a Bach fugue on the listening exam. It's a genre where we have a monophonic statement, one musical line, of a subject or main idea. And then that subject will reappear in many, many different ways throughout the work. And it'll be interrupted by new sections of music, just like everything in the Baroque. It's a this or that thing. And these new sections are called episodes. Okay? The unfolding of the idea is called the exposition. Okay? Baroque music is very much divided into twos, all the musical forms, the dance suite, where we have one big section, it repeats, another new section, and it repeats, and then it ends. Everything is kind of in the concept of two in the Baroque, a very yin or yang, or this or that idea. One of Bach's crowning achievements, however, is this book called The Well-Tempered Clavier. And a clavier was essentially a type of keyboard instrument. And it's a book of 48 preludes and fugues in all of the available keys. Now, during Bach's lifetime, the tuning system began to change. And they started a new tuning system, which is very akin to ours today, called the Well-Tempered tuning system. And this tuning system was essentially equally out of tune between all the keys. In the prior tuning system, certain keys were very, very in tune, and if you tried to go and grab a note from another key in your key, it would be very out of tune by their standards. But on the Well-Tempered Clavier, every key is essentially a little out of tune, but when you go from one key to the next, it's equally out of tune, so it's much less noticeable when you add notes from another key in the key that you're in as being foreign or out of tune. This fixed it, so everything becomes equally out of tune. And every music major studies these pieces, and every piano player would own this book even today. We covered the concerto. Again, the concerto is a work for soloist and orchestra. A concerto grosso is a work for more than one soloist and orchestra. It happens in 3 movements, and keeping with the idea of this or that, it's a fast movement, a slow movement, and then a fast movement. Again, it's either this or that, loud or soft, fast or slow, and that's your typical late Baroque concerto is in 3 movements. In movement 1, of course, there's this improvised section called the cadenza. It's usually a bonus question on a listening assignment. And also in the Baroque instrumental music, in accompanying the opera and accompanying the concertos, we have the house band, and they're called the basso continuo. And that house band essentially consisted of a bass line player, a cello, a bassoon, maybe one of the lute string-like instruments related to the guitar, and an instrument that played chords. Could have been the lute, could have been a harpsichord. And they basically had a bass line with numbers, and the person playing chords would improvise how to voice the chord throughout the work. And that was kind of akin to pop lead sheets today, or the jazz lead sheets that we play from today. So that's a super quick synopsis of the instrumental section. Again, we're keeping things as very basic because you are, if you're a nurse, you're probably working extra hours and so forth. So we want to make it easy to understand, but I want you to get the gist of why we're taking the class in these short videos. Thanks.